Good morning, everybody, and welcome. This is the Metro East Unitarian Universalist Congregation. And I want to say welcome to all of you, and let's also say welcome to our people online. Everybody yell as loud as you can. Hi! Woo! All right, thank you very much for doing that. I know you indulge me, and I appreciate that very much. We are a welcoming religious community, and we're very glad that you're here. My name is Robin Berkeley. My pronouns are she and her, and I have been a member of this congregation since 2010. I am the past president of this church board for one more week. And I'm not counting or anything. So I've been doing this for 5 years. It's time. I'm also the worship coordinator, and I will continue to do that job as I step down from my board role. The MEUUC is located here in Glen Carbon, Illinois. We're spiritually led by the Reverend Dr. Claudia Hall, and we gratefully share sacred space with the Edwardsville Masonic Lodge. Our mission, as you can see up there, drives us to live our values. We are outward reaching, inward seeking. We are creating and nurturing an intentional community, and that intentional community is part of my message today, so I want to make sure you are thinking about that as we get into it. That values acceptance, social justice, and the embodiment of UU principles. So come let us question together. I'm so glad that you're here, whether you're here in the sanctuary or online. We welcome everyone here to this home of comfort, spirit, justice, and hope. We are Unitarian Universalists. Before we get into our service today, because this is a service about inclusion and belonging, I'd like you to take a moment to reach out to somebody that you have not met before, that's new here, and say welcome and say hello, and also to old friends, because we are a community. All right, let's get us back together. We can chit-chat more later. We're going to open our service with a prelude by our accompanist, Joy. you. Before I go any further, I want to say welcome back, Katie. Glad to have you back. All right. An important ritual in the Unitarian Universalist faith is the lighting of our chalice. The Unitarian Universalists have many different interpretations of the flaming chalice, including the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope. If you're watching elsewhere and have a chalice or a candle nearby, please light it now as we all join in saying the unison words projected on the screen above. We hallow this time together by kindling the lamp of our heritage. Okay. So our opening prayer is a poem written by, as I probably told you all before, a friend of mine that I went to grad school with. And I'm so thrilled that her poetry is getting worldwide acclaim. So I read this poem that she had posted somewhere on Facebook at some point. I'm like, I love this, and I wanted to share it with all of you. It's called The Big Lesson. Today it feels so simple. We are here to take care of each other. How could we ever forget? As if soil could forget it is here to feed the trees. As if trees could forget they are here to feed the soil. How could anything ever get in the way of generosity? How could we ever greet each other with any words other than, how can I help you? As if light could forget it is here to help illuminate, and as if dark could forget it is here to help us heal. So, our first hymn is number 407 in the gray hymnal. We're going to sit at the welcome table. So please rise in spirit or body as you like to sing. Or just stay seated. That's totally fine too. Yeah, you need it. Absolutely. Come on, let's do it. Everybody get on your feet. Well, it's true. We're just going to roll on past that. Thank you. We got to practice these songs in advance if we haven't sung them in a while. So I just have to remember to do that. We've never done this one?
Not for years.
Yeah, it's been, I don't even remember it, and I've been here like 12 years or something, so I feel you. So, all right, we promise we'll practice these kinds of things in the future. So, but you did a pretty good job today. All right. So this month we are celebrating the values of inclusion and belonging. We did equity last month and diversity the month before that. And this message that I'll be sharing today is based on obviously all of our principles kind of fall in there, but what resonated the greatest with interdependence and equity and pluralism. Interdependence meaning that we honor the interdependent web of all existence and acknowledge our place in it. And interdependence means what? It means that we need to support each other, hence inclusion and belonging. Equity, we declare every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. And foundational to inclusion is accepting people where they're at, having them to have a place at the table, sitting or standing, whatever it is, and making sure that they have a role to play and a voice that we can hear, and we'll be going into that in more detail. And then pluralism, that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. And again, it's that diversity that drives us to do good things, and it requires us to make sure that we focus on inclusive behavior so people feel like they belong, no matter what their perspective, theology, experiences are, that everybody's experience is welcomed and important. So that is where we'll be headed today. And a couple weeks ago, I think if you remember, Claudia, our minister, said, you're in for a big one when, I'm doing a sermon based on my dissertation work. This is stuff that I do for a living, so it's like, I love this so much. So this is really important to me. So hope my passion for it will inflame your passion for it. So our Joys and Sorrows ritual, as part of our weekly worship service, we take time for the expression of joys, concerns, or sorrows. This is a place where we can each share the things that weigh down our souls or that fill us with joy, and where those who love us, those who we love, surround us in good times and in turmoil. If you'd like to recognize a joy, a sorrow, or a milestone, you can come forward and place a stone or several stones in the water bowl to represent your joys and sorrows. There are stones at the front here. Please come forward. On my left, place your stone or stones, multiple, I get it, in the water, and as a symbol of what you carry in your heart, and then proceed back to your chairs to my right. Please let us be in a spirit of prayer and meditation. This is for the world right now, given what happened yesterday. So we want to keep the people who live in that region in our minds and our hearts, especially our troops who are all stationed in the Middle East right now. Thank you for their service. Okay, so our story for all ages today is about diversity and the ways that we are all different. So we'll play that and go.
Would it be a boring world if we all looked the same? Can you picture if everybody in school had the same color of hair, the same color of eyes, same clothes, and they all ate the same lunch? Thankfully, there are lots of different types of people in the world to keep it interesting and fun. This is called diversity. Imagine the teacher gives you a crayon box and you open it up to find only one color inside. That would make it harder if you want to draw a pretty colorful picture. But if you have crayons of all kinds of different colors, the picture can be much more bright and beautiful. This applies to people too. Having people who differ in many ways means that everyone is unique and adds a different color to the world. These differences are perfectly normal and everybody should be accepting of them. But some people do not accept the beauty in these differences. Instead, they are cruel to people who don't look like them or act the same way they do. This is called discrimination. For example, discrimination happens when a group of people with dark hair color treats a group of people with pink hair color differently because they look unusual. This is not right, because everyone should be treated equally, regardless of any differences. It is important to recognize that we are all unique in our own way, and we all can contribute to protect those who are treated badly or discriminated against. There is a nice way of doing so, and it is called social inclusion. It is a process where people come together because they are welcome and respected. Social inclusion improves people's lives. Now, what are the examples of social inclusion? Very often there might be events organized for people to celebrate their uniqueness, like their culture, country, language, or even favorite club. If you're having a friend who just moved to Ireland from somewhere abroad, you can help them to get to know some Irish traditions or help them navigate in your country. Listen to other kids and play with them, regardless of how different they look to you. There are many ways to support diversity and social inclusion. It may take time to learn them, but it is definitely important. Sadly, there are still situations in which people are treated in a bad way just because they look different, but it is in our power to help those people feel better. It may look like we are on our own, but when many of us do something good together, the world becomes a happier place to all of us. That's why, please remember, we may all look different on the outside, but what really matters is what is on the inside. We all smile in the same language.
Made in Ireland, which was kind of cool. I like that. All right. Thank you for that. So just remember, just because we're different doesn't mean we can't be friends. So that's important. All right. Our second hymn is number 354 in the Gray Hymnal, We Laugh, We Cry. We have no more verses. We're missing the last slide. I know. It's been a weird tech weekend because I send her stuff and she goes, do you have this information? I'm like, it's in the slideshow. I'm like, I copied it. And I mean, apparently I didn't, but it's just been one of those days. So we are gentle with ourselves. These things happen, so we're good. Okay, so our reading today is called Belonging, What It Is, Why It Matters, and How to Nurture It. And I've just taken a subset of the reading. It's from a website called inclusive.com. As humans, we all crave a sense of belonging. We can trace the need for belonging back to our prehistoric ancestors, to whom group life was essential for safety and survival. Back then, people lived in small communities where hunting and gathering were shared responsibilities. To increase the chances of survival, natural selection tended to favor those who showed pro-social behaviors. As a consequence, over time, our need for belonging became hardwired into who we are as a species. Belonging is so fundamental to human flourishing that it ranks third on Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right after physical needs, like air, water, food, and shelter, and our needs for safety and security. Maslow's research showed that individuals are often unable to pursue cognitive and aesthetic needs until they have satisfied those basic needs for belonging. Similarly, in 1995, psychologists Baumeister and Leary identified belonging as a universal human need, ingrained in our motivation as a species and stemming from our ancestral roots. Their research showed that belonging has multiple effects on our emotional and cognitive processes, so much so that a lack of it was linked to ill effects on health and well-being. A lack of belonging has also been linked to mental health conditions such as depression and anxiety, and even suicide. From the moment we are born, we desire connection with our primary caregivers. For young babies, this connection comes mostly from touch and skin-to-skin contact. But as we grow and develop, other forms of connection become increasingly important, such as eye contact and vocal communication. Research has shown that early physical connection stimulates a specific part of a newborn's brain that leads to emotional, neurological, and social development. These sensations tell the newborn that the outside world is safe. In other words, these early bonds we establish with our caregivers are pivotal in setting us up for the relationship we form with others throughout our lives. The powerful role of oxytocin, or the herding hormone, in social bonding further underscores how belonging is in our biology. Oxytocin facilitates human bonding and has significant effects on our relationships, prompting feelings of love and protection, as well as empathy and trust. Bonding hormones like oxytocin make us feel good and motivate us to seek out and nurture social connections. The need for belonging is universal. Belonging enables us to feel confident showing up as our authentic selves while empowering us to access our full range of skills, abilities, and potential. We feel a sense of belonging when we feel connected to others and when we feel that our presence and contributions are valued. And it can come from anywhere, from friends, from families, coworkers, members of a community, and even through social media. But how is belonging defined by the experts? So, Cornell University defines it as the feeling of security and support when there's a sense of acceptance, inclusion, and identity for a member of a certain group. Psychologist Carl Rogers also describes belonging as belonging is defined as a unique and subjective experience that relates to a yearning for connection to others. But it's not only psychologists that have offered up definitions of belonging. Throughout history, poets, writers, religious leaders, politicians, activists, social media personalities, and even astrophysicists have tried to put it into words, what it means to belong and seek connection with others, perhaps one of the most defining characteristics of what it means to be human. So here's a few definitions from Herman Melville, the author. We cannot live only for ourselves. 1,000 fibers connect us with our fellow man, and among those fibers, as sympathetic threads, our actions run as causes, and they come back to us as effects. The author, Alice Walker, says, "Is solace anywhere more comforting than in the arms of a sister?" Idowu Koyenikan, and I don't know what their contribution to the world is, Should have looked it up, but, you know, I'm going to forgive myself on that one. He who masters the power formed by a group of people working together has within its grasp one of the greatest powers known to man. Goethe. The world is so empty if one thinks only of mountains and rivers and cities, but to know someone who thinks and feels with us and who, through distant, is close to us in spirit, this makes the earth for us an inhabitable garden. And then lastly, one of my favorite peeps, Brené Brown. Those who have a strong sense of love and belonging have the courage to be imperfect because we're accepted as we are. Belonging is more than just a fad or the newest buzzword in the DEI space. It is a deeply ingrained and deeply human need that is essential to our health and well-being. As people who exist in communities and workplaces where our actions affect others, we can have a real impact when we value and prioritize belonging. So, thank you. So the message today is a seat for everybody at the table, the importance of inclusion and belonging. And as I said, aside from being past president of the church, which I know many of you know me as, my day job, the one that pays the bills, is at SIUE, where I do research on these topics. And in fact, my most recent consulting project that I did for the last 6 months was an extensive training session for a company in the Northwest on inclusion and belonging and what it means and what they can do differently. What was really fun is that we started the project kind of after Inauguration Day in 2025. And the fact that we were doing it felt exciting and a little transgressive as we tackled the project together. And the fact that we were all in unity on that was just a thrill to be with these people. So let's talk about how those two concepts work together. Inclusion and belonging. People often use them together. They are interdependent, but they are separate concepts, but they do work in concert together. Inclusion is the action. Certain types of behaviors are the things that we need to do to make sure we connote a sense of inclusiveness, that you can belong here, that we want you to be here. And so I have to do certain things in order to make that happen. And belonging, then, is the emotion that it evokes in the person that I am welcoming into that community. Like anything, particularly like motivation theories, for example, when we talk about motivation theories in the field of business and human behavior, and we say, I can't motivate you. I can do things to help create a context that helps you to feel motivated, but ultimately, it's your choice. Ultimately, you decide whether or not you're motivated. The same thing for belonging. I can do all the right things, but if it doesn't resonate for you, or I can do what I think is the right thing, let's put it that way. And if it doesn't resonate for you, you're not going to feel like you belong. So we can't just press a button and go, poof, now everybody's belonging. We have to do the work. We have to set the tone. We have to do the things. We have to walk the walk and talk the talk. So in order to achieve this, though, it really does mean that it takes work to create that context so that there is trust amongst the community and a sense of safety within the community. So what does it entail? Next slide, Alex. Because I'm a teacher, so of course you know you're going to get a slideshow, right? So levels of inclusion. They're not really technically levels, but that's what they call them. So I'm like, all right, I'll go with the graphic. Inclusion includes 5 basic things. Some of them can build on each other, right? But by and large, they all kind of are independent. So let's start with social inclusion. Social inclusion is how we get people to feel like they are part of my social network. Okay, and it's really easy for us as human beings to surround ourselves with people who are like us, right? It's like, you know, there was I think I probably have mentioned this before in the pulpit, but, you know, there was a book years ago written, Why Do All the Black Kids Sit Together in the Cafeteria, right? And a couple of you are all nodding going, yep, I get it. Because there's safety in a small subgroup where I don't have to watch my language, the in jokes, the out jokes, whatever. We know each other. And I'm in the lesbian community. Kay understands this as well because we have been friends forever. And, you know, in the lesbian community, if I tell you a U-Haul joke, the lesbians will all laugh. Everybody else is like, what does that mean? You know, you want to know what it means? What does a lesbian bring on the second date? A U-Haul. Because we bond really quickly. Whatever you want to call it, it's all good. We are in church, so it's all good. But anyway, so social inclusion is about making sure everybody feels like they can participate. But we also have to be careful, because social inclusion, we can do things and say, everybody's invited, everybody can come, everybody can be a part of this thing. And then there are people who say, no, I can't. No, I can't do it. No, I can't. And we have to wonder why. And there's a number of reasons why. They could be giant introverts and be like, I don't like to be around people, and that's okay. But they're welcome, and we want them to be a part of it. And just knowing that they've been invited, sometimes that's all they need, right? And that's okay. We have to respect that introverts have their own walls of care that they need to do for themselves. And speaking as an introvert, I'm an extroverted introvert. I like people. I just sometimes get exhausted by it. So when I go home, Mom will be there with me. I'm going to go home and probably just kind of sit quietly in the house. And maybe we'll go in the pool or do something like that. So there are times, though, that we can do something, and if we do it at the last minute, we don't give respect to those who maybe can't at the last minute pivot to do something. So let's say, for example, let's all go out for breakfast after this, and we do this every couple of Sundays, and wouldn't it be great that we all did this? But there are people who are like, I can't do it. I can't. If we didn't plan it in advance, I can't do it. The most important thing is to recognize that it's not just who shows up, but it's who consistently doesn't show up. Because that's when we know, right, that social inclusion isn't working. Quick story, I was in grad school and we had this experience where they wanted the doctoral students and the faculty members to do something social together, which was a great idea. And they're like, we're gonna play a soccer. And soccer, you all know I can't walk and chew gum, right? So this was like not a thing for me. But, there were people in my cohort who grew up in Germany and they could kick footballs before they could actually walk. So that was a big thing for them. They're like, oh, we're going to play soccer. I'm like, I don't know how to play soccer. I've never even watched it. I mean, I grew up in Connecticut and way back in the 70s and 80s, and literally none of our schools had soccer teams. So it was not a thing for me. Like basketball, I'm on board. I can do that. But soccer was not. So I said, I don't know how to play. And they're like, oh, you'll be fine. It's just for fun. I'm like, okay, I'll play just for fun. I don't have a problem. And I was good for a while until I got yelled at because I was not in the right position for a pass. And then I went, oh, my knee hurts. I'm going to go sit down. So were they being inclusive? On the one hand, sure, because I was invited to participate. On the other hand, they didn't take into account that it wasn't that much fun for me. And I would have been a good sport to do it if they had also found ways to include me in things that I like bowling. Now, I've gotten hurt bowling too, which we won't get into that either, but I can do bowling. So the point is, if you're gonna plan something, make sure you understand what the needs of everybody is. That you can't just do the same thing all the time, because ultimately only a small subgroup of people are going to love that. Even though you're saying everybody can come, they're not going to come. Pay attention to those who don't show up. That's how you know you have to focus on more inclusive behaviors socially. Barack Obama's Attorney General, what was his name? Eric Holder? Yeah, that was what his name was. I remember him talking about at one point in time how he looked around to his friendship group and he went, it's pretty black. And we all look at our friendship groups, and by and large, they're probably pretty much like our skin color, who we are, white. And he said he realized that in order for us to cross the borders, to understand each other, we have to expand those friendship networks, that social network of people that we bring into our inner circle. So this sort of transitions us from this talk about just socially being connected, but also emotionally connected, right? It's not enough to just have them on board and then we don't take the steps to do the extra thing to get to know that person more deeply, what they need, how they survive, what is it that makes them tick. Building an emotional bond. They have to feel safe to do that. They have to make themselves vulnerable to do that, hence Brene Brown, right? One of my favorite people. But we have to also create a place of social inclusion and allowing for people to express, for example, when they're upset about something. It's okay for me to say, you know what, I'm really hurt by what you said to me the other day. And instead of going, being defensive, we need to just sit there and listen. And that's really hard. It really is. I have somebody who was what I thought was a close friend of mine when we tried to have a conversation with her about a thing that she was doing that was making us uncomfortable, a couple of us in a friendship group. We said, we would like to talk to you about this and see what we can do to make this work. And at the end of the day, even though they had agreed to talk, the next day they said, I just need to step away from this friendship. And that really hurt. And that's hard. But that's how you know when you have good friends. Because they're willing to hear you say, you screwed up. And that really hurt. And then we can own it, we heal, we create that bond of trust over and over again. We're going to make mistakes here in this church. We know. We all do. I have. And the goal is that we forgive, we connect, and we continue to move forward in our journeys together. Intellectual inclusion. And this is a big thing because, I know women experience this in an enormous amount. In the workplace particularly, we go into the workplace and we say, I have this great idea. What do you think? And it gets ignored. You're like, okay, they didn't hear me. And then, sorry guys, a man speaks up and says, hey, I'm thinking about this thing. And everybody's like, oh, that's the best idea since sliced bread. And I had this happen to me as well, right? I'm sure we all have stories about it. And I'm not saying that men don't get dismissed in the workplace, but it is an affliction that happens to women more often than not. And I remember going into my boss and saying, hey, I got this great idea for a Christmas party. We're going to do it on the Circle Line cruises, New York Harbor, Statue of Liberty, New York skyline. It's going to be an amazing experience and everybody needs to go because I was responsible for planning the holiday party. And my boss looked at me and he goes, that's a stupid idea. Okay. So I backed away. I figured, it was a little early in the plan because I figured I probably needed to plan it pretty early, given the reservations might book up quickly. I said, I got a few months yet, so I just went back to the drawing board. About 2 months later, my boss walks into my office, not the boss that told me it was a stupid idea, because I was the CEO. This was my direct boss. She comes in and she goes, wait till you hear where we're going to have the holiday party. I'm like, oh no. Really? No, I'm glad I was right, because it was a good idea, but I didn't get credit for it. Now, do I need credit for it? Maybe once, but not in a continued pattern, right? And so who thought it was a great idea? The senior VP, who is a white male. Okay. So again, I'm not trying to be denigrating to men here because, that's not a universal trait, of course. But that hurt. That when I was trying to make my voice heard, it was not respected. And that when it came from another source, then it was suddenly respected. So we want to be mindful of allowing the voices to be heard. Even if we think, that's just not a good idea, let it be heard. Because when people feel like their voice is heard, that it's respected, that it counts, that we consider it, then people feel like they're willing to add more, to do more, to contribute more to whatever the group is. Spiritual inclusion isn't just, like, we are a spiritually inclusive faith. We know this, right? But it isn't just this that we do here. Spiritual inclusion is also about allowing people to pursue what is meaningful for them. So if someone's doing a thing, somebody said this to me the other day, and I'm like, God, I like that saying. Don't yuck somebody else's yum. Like, if they like it, if it doesn't affect you directly, who cares? I literally had to say this to my brother the other day when we were up at my sister's daughter's graduation, and I said, dude, like, your opinion doesn't matter on this concept, and don't yuck somebody else's yum. If that's the way they want to do it, it ain't your business. None your business. Let it go. And he grumbled at me, and he took a deep breath, and he let it go. It happens, right? So, spiritual inclusion, making sure we allow for what is meaningful for people to be pursued. Comprehensive is like the whole package. There was something in here, it said, how do we let people come here to be their full and authentic selves? Because inclusivity encourages that, so that when someone walks in, their whole self can be here. When I walked in here in 2010, not here specifically, but to this church, in 2010, I walked in as a out lesbian with 2 little kids, looking for something and not knowing what I was looking for, and I wasn't even sure I was gonna like it. Lane Simpson was like, you gotta come, and I'm like, all right, Lane, I'll finally come. It took her 3 years to convince me. And literally I walked in, and I was welcomed instantaneously. I never, ever felt like I never belonged. And that was hard for me as someone who was a lesbian and was struggling with acceptance in a lot of aspects of my life, and being able to feel like I could come here and be me. I'll never forget Spiral Blanton, Dick Blanton said to me, he came over and he's like, I got this great joke, and he would be showing me these things, and I've been reading this thing, and I think it's really cool. And Dick just made me feel like I mattered. And I miss him to this day, because I really appreciate that about him. Okay, so that's the levels of inclusion. We have a saying that when you have more than you need, you build a bigger table. Put more seats at the table. You don't build a bigger wall. Now I know that a lot of this gets applied to the current state of politics, and it's true. But when we talk about a metaphorical wall, we don't build a wall to create a barrier between us and somebody else. When we have more, how can I help you? We give back to people. We need to create that extra seat at the table. I don't know how many of you remember in this was George H.W. Bush. He was the first president to initiate this, strangely enough, a Republican. He initiated what we call the Glass Ceiling Commission. The Glass Ceiling Commission was a bipartisan commission to look at the reasons why women and minority groups were not rising to higher levels in organizations. And they called it a glass ceiling, because literally it's here. They couldn't break through it, but they could see what was going on. They just couldn't break through it. So they said, we need to figure out what's going on. And so they did this tremendous research. And there's a whole monstrous report out there. This was actually a question on my comprehensive exams when I was trying to get my doctorate. And, tell me about the Glass Ceiling Commission. I'm like, oh, dude, I just read this last night. I'm on board with this. It was good. And what they basically said was, the companies that are the most successful at creating opportunity are not the groups that say, oh, we need to make sure we serve this group or that group. They say, everybody deserves a seat at the table. Because if we only value this group, right, then this group feels discriminated against. And if we focus then on this group, everybody else feels like it is a two-way street. And I think that we've sort of forgot this. And this is my personal opinion, I think this is an underlying issue with why we've had such a huge backlash to DEI. Because we've created this us versus them mentality, originally, in response to, and in again. It's like we're continually swinging from both ends of the extremes and not thinking about how can we bring it all together. And I'm not saying that those of us that value diversity and anti-discrimination issues are at fault for this, but it's hard. It's a really hard thing. So let me move forward and just basically wrap up here. These are issues and values that are central to us as Unitarians. We value the dignity in everybody. We create space for all perspectives and views, and we empower people to find their truth. That's what we do. Our opening prayer calls us to take care of each other, to have each other's back, to protect each other. And this is essential for inclusion. We all want to feel like we belong. We're social creatures, as you saw from our first reading, right? We all are ingrained in our DNA to be connected to people. It is a fallacy that rugged individuals do these things all by themselves. They don't. The extreme concept of libertarianism is like, well, you don't want anybody to take care of me. I'm just going to take care of myself. I'm like, you can't live that way. There has to be communal support for each other. And this is my soapbox every time I work with clients. We work better when we are in concert with each other. We work better when we know how to manage our differences, and we are open to hearing feedback, and we are willing to make the changes that it takes to get us there. The reading today also highlights the ways that belonging can be achieved and the positive outcomes that come from ensuring people feel welcome. But let's think about our community here, right? Think about all the ways that we support each other. This week, Allison Lamothe, as you know, has had a challenge with somebody who has been stalking her. So when she reached out this week and said, hey, that person is still threatening me, the UU posse showed up. And I was really pleased, right? There was a bunch of us that were there, and he was called to speak, and he did not show up, which was good because he knew better. Believe me, he knew better. But also, I was there prepared to film because this would have been a second strike for him, and it would have been a problem. So that's how we support each other, right? That's what we do. Mona hurt her arm, right? And people in the community brought food to her. And that's a beautiful, or bought gift cards or whatever they could. So help feed them because she has a big burden of a kid and, you know, and how that is hard, right? Look at what we did for Jessie, who's not here today either. All these people not showing up today. You know, I was highlighting them and everything, but Jessie, right, when she needed support after her surgery, we all showed up. We were all a part of that. We all took care of that because that's what we do. So I have felt connected to all of you in this church in ways that I've never felt like I ever belonged before. And we've been through tough times. We've been through amazing times. And I think even though we've struggled, we remind ourselves that we are a community and we support each other. So no matter what, no matter where we end up with our permanent home, no matter what we do, we are a community. Everybody needs to feel like they are welcomed and they belong. Amen. And blessed, blessed be. So our final hymn, my favorite person, Summer Osborne. And I know I've played this song here before, but we're going to play it again because it's summer and it's a great song. It's called As I Am. And this song really exemplifies the importance of inclusion and belonging and how we have to love ourselves first, but then we have to love each other. So sing along if you know the words, but I know we've got a verse here that everybody should sing. There was a paperwork out there. Mary, I don't know if we have any more, but anyway, if we can do our next song, Summer Osborne, As I Am.
I am here, I am whole, as I am. I am saved, I am loved as I am. I am grateful and I'm free, and I'm as perfect as can be. I am here, I am whole, as I am. Nothing can illuminate the darkness like a serenade. Nothing can make peace like a song. We've got a ways to go, but then we're closer than we've ever been. So let's walk together on and on. I am here, I am whole, as I am. I am saved, I am including all the people that we love. Then we'll take a photograph of everybody as they laugh, put it in the book entitled Us. I am here, I am whole, as I am. I am saved, I am loved as I am. I am grateful and I'm free. Time as perfect as can be. I am here, I am whole, as I am. May seem just like a song, may seem just like a thought, but it soon will take hold, become a truth that's taught for generations, generations, generations. I am here, I am whole, as I am. I am safe, I am loved as I am. Grateful and I'm free. Time as perfect as can be. I am here, I am whole, as I am. As I am. I am here, I am whole, as I am. I am safe, I am loved as I am. I am grateful and I'm free. I'm so grateful. Time is perfect as can be. There is nothing wrong with me. I am here, I am whole, as I am. Just as I am. I am here, I am whole, as I am.
So I was going through my Facebook memories, and a year ago, really this weekend, I got to see her perform in front of the National Women's Music Festival. And you can't imagine a space, obviously 5 times this, everybody singing that song, and what an amazing feeling it was. And she did a concert for us last fall, so we are grateful for her as well. Okay, stewardship. As Amy passes around the offering basket, I offer the gentle reminder that this community of faith is supported only by your giving. Stewardship is more than just financial donations, although I think we still need some donations coming in for our campaign, so please do what you can on that. But we're also donating time and talent to help our church. If you can't write a check, help us survive and thrive by offering your time to make coffee and snacks. There's more on that in a bit. Serve as an usher, serve on other committees, such as helping with worship on occasion. Donate as you can or you will with your time, talent, and or treasure, because all is needed for our church to survive. Send the check, if you need to our P.O. Box in Alton. I know we're getting ready to change that soon, but we will let you know when that happens. And or donate via Givelify. No more PayPal. Give what you will and what you can, for you are a generous people. Thank you, and there's pledge forms in there, if you have not done so already. All righty. Thank you, dear. Appreciate that. Okay, so please join me in our offering prayer. May this offering equip us to inspire love and seek justice. And we got some announcements. Let me start with a really important one. We're talking about community. We're talking about how can I help. Peg's got her hands full. We love Peg. Peg has done her part, more than done her part. She has set up an amazing system for us to go in there and get chores done before church and after church. So, number one, she's going to have to take a big step back because she's got a lot going on with her husband. And so we need people to step up. And here's also the thing too. You don't need to ask, really, how can I help? Guess what? There's a checklist in there. Go to the checklist, take the stinking, clip, and do a thing. You don't have to ask, just do it. Because that's a big pet peeve for a lot of folks. It's like, you are a co-owner of this house. We don't ask for how you can help. You just do the things. So do the things. We're all co-owners here. We all matter here. All right. So please do that. Second announcement that I want to make before we get into the rest of this, Lucy Boughton had cancer and is recovering from that. We just found out recently. Thank you for letting us know that, Nancy. Mary Weber has got a card out there. Even if you don't know Lucy, put your name in the card because she's a cuddly curmudgeon, and we love Nan. We love our Lucy. So she's a very opinionated and lovely woman who has a passion for helping people, truly. So please, let's help her, even if it's just sending her a card to say we're thinking of her. Next week, Reverend Claudia's last service here, all right? We're going to have our annual meeting after the service and potluck, so make sure we got potluck. So probably the start time for the annual meeting should allow for the food thing. And then Claudia from now on will be virtual, unless she's down here for whatever reason in the wintertime, but by and large, she will probably be here virtually. And so we need, I think Beth said she would be the consistent worship associate to help her, which we really appreciate that. July 6th, Jesse will be in the pulpit. So we will not have any RE or childcare that week. Pledge cards. Please, we need those as quickly as possible. This Saturday would be the deadline. Or if you don't have a pledge card handy and can't find one, email us. There's plenty of us on the board. There's some on the table out there, but if you happen to walk out and go, oops, I forgot, you know all of our emails on the board. Please make sure you do that. You should have also gotten an email from Mary regarding who is going to be on the board, the slate that we're putting forward. We are offering and have asked Alex to serve another year for the interest of having continuity, just as I stayed on a few extra years because of the turnover that we were going through. We believe that was the right thing to do. Alex has agreed to serve as president for one more year. So it's just a one-year extension for Alex. And then we have the rest of the board is all there in the email, and we'll talk more about it next week. Anything you want to add on that, Alex?
I was going to go back and say, I believe everyone received the email that has a digital pledge card.
Right. So there should be a digital pledge card in an email from a couple weeks ago, as well as Courtney and Christian sent it out via mail, so you should all have one that you got in the mail as well as a digital one. So we got all the things covered. All right, next slide. Set up and takedown today. Also in the community room as well as in here. And then set up and breakdown also on the 29th. Anything else? Goshen Market, talk to Jennifer Lewis, July 5th, 8 to noon. They need volunteers for the booth. Jennifer, you're still planning to do the slot machine thing?
I don't think we should.
It's a lot. It's a clever idea, but we'll have to figure out how to.
Kids will still be selling bracelets for Foster Fest, and
Right.
we'll have children's books to give away.
And more children books to give away. Good thing. 8 to noon. July 20th is our Moose Lodge chicken dinner, winner chicken dinner. Thank you to them. They have been wonderful supports for us in terms of fundraising. This is a fundraising for us. Peg, thank you again for getting that set up for us. See, she does a lot of things here, people. Let's let her take a break. I won't be here. I will be in Amsterdam, I think. So I will. Feel sorry for me. I know. I will make a donation of chicken. All right, I will do that. All right, but anyway, we'll also. Are you going to take the dessert donations? Oh, so we'll be. If you can just make a dessert thing, do that. Maybe I'll do that. Get it to you in advance. There you go. All right. Anything else? Oh, the Baha'i Faith Worldwide Conference, July 26th, 10 to 2:30 at the Fuller Dome. So talking about Baha'i Faith, what it's done. All faiths who want to see humanity thrive in greater harmony are welcome to be a part of that. And I think that's the last communication slide. All right, good. All right. Please do, come on up. It's on you. Last thing.
It's not a lot.
Yeah, it's okay.
Say things.
Just gonna say a few things.
Say exists. So
This is real short because this is a conversation we've had a lot. You all got a message. It's a survey to vote yay or nay on a putting a offer forward for a potential contract for deed for the VFW hall
In Granite City.
in Granite City. I know some of you voted before I did this. I did update it with a link to the real estate listing for the building so you know exactly which building it is. I know there's been a lot of discussion, there's been a lot of hashing it out and a lot of opinions. I think that if I open it up to opinions or start sharing all kinds of things, we're gonna be here till next week.
Right.
So there's a vote. Vote.
Nope.
Sorry.
You wanna share that, Alex?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what there's not much
Nothing to say.
There's not much to say on because I know I've talked to some of you about the Maryville property. The septic problems are not very easy to resolve and may not be resolvable with the amount of funds we have available. So, but yeah.
It was a great property, but
So,
just
and
as the curse of the septic system has
Right.
come back to bite us twice.
yeah, and
Well, they do, just not in that area. Nobody wants that sewer to come across their
Yeah.
property. I'm
So,
like, hey, if it helps somebody else out, bring it. you
we
know?
may have more to talk about the property later.
Okay.
But you know,
Right,
but yeah.
This is the last call on the,
So,
on the
yeah.
Granite City property, just because it looks like it's gonna go, and we just wanna
Right.
double check.
there are offers on the table, so it will no longer be an option in the future. That's it. What now? The vote closes at 6 p.m. today. So that is a great question that you can ask future me.
Future me, not past me, or present me.
Sometime after 6 p.m. today.
And you will send an email out tonight?
Yeah, I'll send an email out tonight with the results. So I want to state this explicitly. I am doing my best, and I'm going to, share some of the things I'm concerned about. I'm doing my best to not seem like I'm telling anyone to vote one way or the other. This is a vote to do it or a vote not to. So that way, no matter what the decision is, we make the decision rather than having time make that decision for us. So vote how you feel, 100%. So cool.
You'll do what you ask. Great, thank you. All right, so I invite you to join me in reciting the prayer as we extinguish the chalice. The light of truth and meaning cannot be put out. We are keepers of this flame until we meet again. Our closing words are from the UUA website, Citizens of Our Community, Our Nation, and Our World by Sherry Woodbury. Let us continue to grow as citizens of our communities, our nation, and our world. Let us work to build the common good for ourselves and the generations to come. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be. I thank you for your time today, and we will have Joy close with her prelude. With her postlude, sorry, not prelude. Sorry, can't read.